Hello and welcome to the home of the Ghost Owl, continuing our mini-series on Warhammer The Old World. Now, quite a while ago now, when The Old World was being announced, we did take a look at what was available to buy for each of the factions when looking at Age of Sigmar stuff that was still on the store. Well, we've just obviously had a new Age of Sigmar release, and with that came Skaven Tide. So I thought we'd take a look and see what the impact is for Skaven in Warhammer The Old World. Of course, it is a legacy army. It's not supported in Warhammer The Old World with anything other than legacy faction rules. But there's a lot of Skaven fans out there. I like Skaven as well. I think they're a really fun faction. I was gutted that they weren't included in core. They're one of my favourite factions to play in Total Warhammer as well. So, you know, any way that we can get a Skaven army put together is going to be a good one. So let's take a look and see what is available as of September 2024. So, first up, let's take a look at the characters then. So you've got the Warlord, then you've got Kritok Foulblade. Now he is quite a sizable miniature, so getting him on the right size base could be tricky, but he's currently available for $40. You do have a Master Molder there who you could use as like a Clan Molder Warlord. He's $35, and you have a Claw Lord as well, who is also $30. Now, in terms of Grey Seer, that's more of a challenge. So you've got the Screaming Bell, of which a Grey Seer comes on. So you've got that. But there's currently no Grey Seer which is available separately to buy. Now, you could buy the Skaven Spearhead in Age of Sigmar. Now, that's $145. And with it, you do get your 20 Clan Rats. Now, you could use the 3 Storm Fiends you get in there. With a bit of kit bash, you could maybe make them Rat Ogres, but they are big. So again, getting them on the right size base could be a real challenge. And they're the main issue in that box is, can you make use of those Storm Fiends? Outside of a tournament setting, of course, you can do counts as and stuff. But it's more of, are you going to get real value from those Storm Fiends? But you also do get a Warp Lightning Cannon in there. So you can see, I've got a picture of it here. You've got your Clan Rats, you've got your Grey Seer, your Warp Lightning Cannon, all that good stuff. I say with the Storm Fiends being the one there where you go, how do I do that? But at the moment, that is the only way of getting this Grey Seer on foot, which I think is a real shame. They should, and maybe it'll come, but we should get a Grey Seer that you can get individually. The Screaming Bell there coming in at $79. Now, your Warlock Engineer, you do have a Warlock Bombardier who you could use. That's $35. A Warlock Galvaneer. All of these could easily be counted as Warlock Engineers. Again, $35. And you've got the Arch Warlock as well, who basically screams Ikit Claw. And he is currently available for $38. So all of those usable as Warlock Engineers. And in terms of Master Assassins, you've got Skittershank's Claw Pack, of which out of that you've got 3 Assassins in there that you could absolutely use. It's $42 for the pack. So actually not bad value to get 3 Assassins for the $42. The other option, which is a very cool looking, I must say, Deathmaster coming in at $37, who could also be used as that Master Assassin. Plague Priest, well, you do get a Plague Priest with the Plague Furnace. That comes in at $79. Obviously, it's a shared box with the Screaming Bell. So maybe if you built the Screaming Bell with the Grey Seer, you could do something that could then get you the Plague Priest on foot, and vice versa. If you built the Plague Furnace, you could maybe then get the Grey Seer on foot. The other way you could do it is you could take a Claw Lord, and then you could kit bash in with some Plague Monks. But, you know, if you did that, the total of a Claw Lord and the Plague Monk box would set you back $75, right? And then you would get 19 Plague Monks because you'd have kit bashed 1 to make your Plague Priest. And then in terms of Chieftain, you got a Claw Lord, $30. You can either paint him a different colour, tone him down to make sure that if you had a Claw Lord as a Warlord, another one as a Chieftain, you could separate the two. So that's where we currently stand with the characters. Okay, in terms of core, You've got Storm Vermin. Obviously, these look really cool. I think the only thing that when I look at these Storm Vermin is there's going to be definitely some work that's going to have to be done to make these guys rank up properly. That is going to be the biggest challenge. So it depends upon how much mobility there is with these guys, and I think you're going to have to do a little bit of chopping and changing of these miniatures poses to get them to rank up in a reasonable way. But of course, with the slightly enlarged base sizes we see in the old world, that does help. So you do get 10 Storm Vermin for $58, and they do look really nice, I have to say. Clan Rats, again, there's new Clan Rats there, 20 for $52. And then you've got Night Runners, which, as you can see there, is still the really old Night Runner box. My God, if you look at the Storm Vermin and you think about what Games Workshop could do with new models in terms of Night Runners and the whole Clan Eshin stuff, as well as seeing like the Death Master, man, these guys could be really cool. But you can still get the box of Night Runners, and that is 20 for $42. Now, as it currently stands, there are no giant rats available to buy and no rat swarms to buy. So you're going to have to look on either the second-hand market or potentially look for a 3D printed option. Overall, with those not being available, I don't think it's the end of the world. For me, the 3 core units absolutely available to buy from GW Direct. In terms of special, so the big one here is the Gutter Runners not being available. So again, you could use the Night Runners, I guess, and you could like paint them a different color or do some kit bashing, but they're currently not available. So that would be my recommendation, or you go look secondhand market or 3D print for the Gutter Runners. Rat Ogres, you get 3 for $60. Plague Monks are available. That's 20 for $45. Warplock Jezzails, these are the new ones. My God, these look sweet. You know, if GW was doing this back in the Warhammer Fantasy days, they would have no problem selling that stuff because these models look absolutely amazing. And actually, 3 for $52. That's seen as good value these days for Warplock Jezzails, don't get me wrong, despite them being actually GW high prices. So, Warplock Jezzails, really cool looking miniatures, 3 for $52. And then the same with the Poison Wind Globadiers. Again, these used to be crazy expensive, but now you get 5 for $58 and they look really, really cool. So, the Jezzails and Globadiers there, really, really cool. New Rat Ogres as well, whereas the Plague Monks are the old style Plague Monks. But overall, not in a bad position. And I say there is an option for the Gutter Runners if you do want to take Night Runners and say either, make them out to be a bit more special looking and so on to then, denote them as Gutter Runners. Okay, so finally, let's take a look at the rare category. You've got the Hell Pit Abomination, the classic cool looking monster available there. The Doom Wheel is available. That comes in at $42. You've got the Warp Lightning Cannon coming in at $42. That's a shared model with the Plague Core Catapult, which is also $42. And finally, the one you've got is there's no specific pack for Plague Sensor Bearers. However, if you take a look at the Plague Pack, which I've got a picture of here, you can see that out of that Plague Pack, there are at least 3 models there that you could use as Plague Sensor Bearers. So, you're going to have to buy a few of these. It's going to be expensive to get a unit of them, but there is an option there, and you've even got a rat here which you could use for something maybe to denote no, it's not sure it's big enough to denote a giant rat, but you do have obviously a rat there. You've got a couple of miniatures here who could actually be interesting to make as Plague Priests. That could be another option for Plague Priests. So overall, I think you can get, if you're going down that whole Plague Monk theme, then I definitely think there's things you can use here. But if you're particularly after the Plague Sensor Bearers, there's definitely 3 usable models in that pack. So overall, when I take a look at that, currently I think Skaven are in not a bad place. By and large, most of the army, 90+% of the army is absolutely available. It's all available in plastic. which I know a lot of people like, but does tend to bring cheaper prices. You will have to buy bases, because I'm pretty sure none of these now come with square bases, so you will have to buy the bases. That's going to be the downside. But overall, I think from an availability perspective, Skaven are in a pretty good place. Pretty good place compared to some of the other Old World factions. So there you go. That is my updated video on what is currently available to buy directly from Games Workshop for the Skaven, given they are a legacy faction. And, obviously the whole point is about what you can buy directly from Games Workshop. Clearly, there are many other places you can go to source miniatures, particularly for those legacy factions, 3D printing, and other game companies that do fantasy models that would fit with the theme and the sizing, which is really important to make sure you do get the scale right. Otherwise, they will look weird in your army if you're mixing and matching. Hope this video was useful for you. If it was, give it a thumbs up. If it wasn't, give it a thumbs down, but let me know why it wasn't in the comments down below. And as always, if you want to see more content, please hit that subscribe button. It is totally free for you to do, and it means a big deal for me, so thank you for that in advance. You've been watching The Ghost Owl, and I'll see you all very, very soon.